The OBSBOT Tiny SE is a super versatile PTZ or pan tilt zoom camera. Why is this useful? Well, if you've ever used an iPad or a Mac with a center stage camera, you know why it's useful. It allows you to move around and yet you stay in frame. But a PTZ camera like the Tiny SE takes it to a whole new level. So first of all, let's go ahead and unbox the OBSBOT Tiny SE. So here is the box. Here's what you'll find inside. You get a getting started guide, of course. It has all the ins and outs about the device. Inside here, you also get a USB-C cable, which is plenty long to accommodate wherever you want to put the webcam. And there's also a USB-A adapter. And here is the actual OBSBOT Tiny SE. And as you can see, it lives up to its name, very tiny, but quite powerful from my experience here. So what's cool is you have this flexible mounting option featuring a quarter 20 on the bottom for connecting to a tripod, but it can also pivot like this to easily mount to pretty much any display. So let's go ahead and take the lens protection sticker off. There is the lens. And although it is a smaller sensor to accommodate this size, it does feature a faster aperture at f1.8. So it's going to be able to do pretty well in low light. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it to the test. Now, one of the things that impressed me the most about this tiny camera is the low light performance, believe it or not. And I'm in basically one of the worst environments that you can be in to shoot pretty much anything, that being a hotel room. And I have done some things to try to help out the lighting in the room, but I had to work with what I had in the room. I didn't really have any extra equipment to bring. So I've done that, but needless to say, the OBSBOT Tiny SE is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And one of the reasons it's able to do this is because it features a fast f1.8 aperture to help compensate for that smaller sensor. It's a 1/2.8 inch sensor with 2 million effective pixels. It's a stacked CMOS sensor. So it doesn't have a whole lot of real estate in it, but the camera is able to gather more light thanks to the larger aperture. And another thing that helps in low light situations is having a dual base ISO. Now, the base ISO is generally where you want to set your camera for the best noise performance. Having the benefit of two base ISOs, you can have one at a lower ISO and one at a higher ISO when you're shooting in low light, and you're going to get less noise. So all of that combined together equates to pretty good low light performance from the OBSBOT Tiny SE. Now, when it comes to any sort of camera or webcam, obviously privacy protection is of utmost importance. And that's even more important for a PTZ that can move and track subjects. So there are some things that this does to help with privacy. Obviously, you have the light indicator that tells you when the camera is on, but when you flip it down like this, it obviously can't see anything due to the position, but it also turns the camera off, and you can turn it back on simply by flipping it up like that. You can also put the camera to sleep directly through the OBSBOT Center software as well. So that's super handy. And as you notice, you can make sure that the mic is disabled while sleeping. So you can control the gimbal right here from the OBSBOT Center. And that's done by dragging here under the View and Gimbal section of the OBSBOT Center utility. It's super easy. And recently, OBSBOT added the ability to drag directly on the video preview, and you can move it just like this. Like, you can move it up, down, left, right. And I can, of course, go all the way up if I want to as well, just like that, as you can see. And of course, we can bring it all the way back down just like this. Wow, pretty cool. You can also zoom in and out like this. Or if you just want to zoom in, you can do that. Or zoom out, you can do that. And yes, the OBSBOT Center also includes handy presets. So you literally, with just one click, can go to a designated area that you predefine. It's almost like having your own little camera operator on the side, and that can save you a lot of time. And one more thing, yes, keyboard shortcuts are there as well. As you can see there, so you have your global settings, you can enable those. So now I'm just simply using my Mac's keyboard to control the OBSBOT Tiny SE's PTZ functionality. The center stage camera on today's Macs and iPads is actually a pretty neat idea. So it uses an ultra-wide camera so it can see a large portion of the frame, and then it uses digital zoom to make sure the subjects stay in frame even if they move around the frame. One of the downsides of center stage is that you lose resolution as you pan around because it's not actually moving the camera like a PTZ camera such as the Tiny SE. So that is one of the major advantages of a PTZ like this right here, because it actually moves around the frame. And you can initiate tracking just by holding your hand up like that. And now you have AI-based tracking, just like that. So you can see the camera move as I move. So it's physically moving, unlike center stage, which is basically just cropping in to wherever you happen to be. So that obviously gives the Tiny SE a pretty big advantage. And there's various different tracking styles as well. So you have regular tracking or normal tracking that uses either standard or the motion setting. And as you move around, you can see the little blue LED light indicating that tracking is enabled. It will track me just perfectly. So I can move around the frame and it'll see me and move accordingly. And you also have a motion option as opposed to standard for fast moving subjects. Now there's also body tracking. So you have 4 different body areas, and that includes upper body, close up, headless, and lower body. So right now I have it on upper body and it's doing its thing, tracking me just fine. But when we switch over to the close up body tracking, you'll see this works more like center stage. So when you move further away, it'll zoom in on you, and when you move closer, it'll zoom out to keep you in the frame. So that is a really cool function. There's also group mode as well, so that it can accommodate more than one person in frame, just like center stage does. There's also headless and lower body, and they work just as advertised. You also have hand tracking, and this allows you to track either the left or the right hand. And you'll see the little LED turn purple, indicating hand tracking is enabled, and it'll track you as you move about your hands just like this. And of course you can switch between left and right, and it'll track each one accordingly. And finally, let's talk about the zones, because with zones you can set up a particular range that you want to track inside of. So I can set the various degrees for the left, right, up, and down. And then I can also set up a non-tracking area as well, and these will both work together. So you have your tracking range and your non-tracking area. You can use them both at the same time. So as long as it's within the tracking area, it will track you. But as soon as you get to the non-tracking area, it'll stop tracking while you're in that area. And then as soon as you move outside of that area, tracking will resume. So that can be super handy depending on the application. Say you go to a whiteboard or something like that and you want to stop the tracking. This is actually a perfect little tool for just that. And the OBSBOT Center utility is a super powerful tool that allows you to do everything I showed you with all the tracking, but it also has areas where you can adjust autofocus, where you can adjust your exposure settings. You can even record directly with the app itself, or you can use OBS or Zoom or whatever your preferred recording utility or live streaming utility is. There's also beauty settings that you can go in and retouch your image or add filters if you want to. And you can actually configure up to 4 different cameras at the same time with this utility. So super powerful tool overall, versatile and flexible little utility, works with the Mac, works with the iPad, and you can even set it up to shoot in landscape or portrait mode. The Tiny SE also supports seamless plug-and-play compatibility for all your devices, and it supports software like OBS, Twitch, Zoom, FaceTime, etc. And with support for the OSC protocol, Stream Deck, and SDK, users can easily integrate the Tiny SE into their streaming, broadcasting, and educational setups without worrying about compatibility issues. So if you're looking to improve your footage, or you just want the versatility that a PTZ brings to the table, then be sure to click the link down below in the description to get your Tiny SE today. Special thanks to OBSBOT for sponsoring 9 to 5 Mac on YouTube.